Welcome to the Lost in Orbit Podcast. I am Dustin.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Squiggs.
And this is Lost in Orbit Podcast. LinO Podcast, number 3. As you can see, that whiteboard kills me. I love it.
I just realized, like, I was watching myself when we were setting up. I was like, that whiteboard needs something written on it.
Yeah, it's amazing. it's so I almost didn't want to point it out just to see how many people notice it, because I didn't know. We were in the call for a while. I didn't notice it.
It's too fucking late for that now, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, let's start off with our audience question for the day, and that would be.
That is, which game is most likely to go to Evo?
See, that's how you know Brian doesn't know what it is. Do you know what Evo is, Squiggs?
Nope.
I don't know what Evo is.
So I can tell you that is not the question. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so here's what the question is, and it doesn't make sense to me. Which is most likely to go to Evo?
He's asking.
What is referencing to?
This question is from Xandrak.
Yes.
Mr. Xandrak.
Posted on Twitter.
And he's asking us which of us is most likely to go to Evo.
Which of us?
It's the fighting game convention. It's the fight. It's the. You know how, they have like AGDQ, whatever, is like the big speed running convention. So Evo is that for fighting games.
Okay.
It is everybody goes to compete playing fighting games.
Okay.
So which is most likely to go to Evo? He's talking to the three of us.
Is he?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, I guess. But to answer that question, I think we know that the answer is me. I'd be 110% most likely to go to Evo because I want to go to Evo. I would love to go to Evo.
Then why don't you go to Evo?
Because do you have money to just send me to Evo?
Where's Evo?
I think it changes. I'm pretty sure.
We'll
find out.
Probably.
But no, I would love to go to Evo. I've been like Xandrak and Morgan. They got me heavy into fighting games. Yeah, I still don't play them as much as I would like to, but I picked up Dragon Ball FighterZ the other day, and I'm kind of excited for that to try and learn how to play. But they have gotten me into it, and I love fighting games, man. I love watching them. I love watching people compete. It's just a great environment to see. Yeah, it gets really hype. So,
Evo Championship Series.
Yep.
Is in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Always?
I don't know. This year it is.
Okay.
On August 3rd to 5th. Of 2018.
August 3rd to 5th.
Early August. That's still summer.
That's I want to go to Las Vegas. So
that's Vegas time right there.
I would like to go to Evo one time though. At least.
That'd be pretty dope.
I think it'd be a blast. It'd be a great time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that pretty much answers that question because Brian didn't even know what the question was asking, and I didn't know what Evo was either.
Clearly, don't worry, Brian. I had no idea either.
Yeah.
I'm
actually surprised. I'm actually kind of surprised.
What, that I have no clue?
But neither of you had any kind of idea what Evo was.
Well,
Evo was a pretty big thing.
I knew that Evo was a fighting game thing, which is why I posted after that question. I said, or we could just pose this as a general discussion about fighting games. So, do we want to do that too?
Well, thankfully, I was here to interpret this question for you guys because
thank you.
It's gonna be really funny if this was not what he was asking at all.
Well, for the interpretation of the question, is he asking which game will be present at Evo?
Well, there's
that
several.
Could also be true.
There's several. Like, it is a massive thing. Like, you'll see Street Fighter. They might do MVCI. They'll do Dragon Ball FighterZ will be there. Mortal Kombat will be there. Smash Brothers is there. There's a shit ton of stuff that's there. King of Fighters.
But is Smash even a fighting game? Technically,
you offended a lot of people with that.
Yeah, I know.
It's a fighting game.
You offended a lot of people with that.
No, I've seen people play Smash, and it's fucking intense. Yeah, I actually went to the Smash tournament at PAX South. That was a lot of fun. I watched.
It gets hyped, dude.
Several rounds of that. It was really hyped. By the end of it, I was hyped.
They have a fighting game tournament at Acon every year.
Yeah.
In the game room, massive ass game room, and it gets crazy. They'll do it for like last year. They had Injustice 2, and that was the big one. Really, what they focused on. But I would imagine I don't know. I think there was some controversy with Evo this year, if I'm not mistaken, about a game not being present or a game being present. One of them not making the list or something. But I have no idea what that is. So And so, doing the podcast like this, it's really weird because I never know where to look.
I just look everywhere.
It's kind of weird to look over here because I'm not looking at the camera when I'm talking, and then sometimes I'll catch myself looking at myself.
No, I always look at myself.
Yeah, so it's so weird. I try to make eye contact with you guys, but eye contact makes no sense to the viewer, But is what it is. So I wanted to bring up.
I'm looking at this monitor more than anything, at least so far, because this is information. I keep
maybe one day when
Brian,
I actually get an office.
I can't access my computer because of the soundproofing setup I have. Could you start a link dump in the?
I'm on it.
Okay, because talk about Evo and stuff.
Yeah. That's why I've got 3 monitors. I am the information guy.
I have something that I wanted to bring up because I wanted to bring it up last time that we were talking about technology at the end of the last podcast, right? And
sure,
I wanted to pose a question to you guys, and I was trying to pose it to you both when we got off the podcast in a way that makes sense, but I guess it's kind of have you guys seen the new Independence Day?
No.
The remake?
No.
Okay, so this doesn't help at all.
I've seen the original Independence Day.
I was watching a little bit of it today, right? So it paints this future where they got all this crazy alien technology now after their encounter and yada yada yada. But and watching this made me think about what I'm about to ask you guys a little bit more. So do you guys think that we are too hopeful of the technology that is coming? Like we think we're going to be a lot more advanced than we really are?
No, not at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you have those conversations where somebody it comes up with health a lot. They're like, oh, by then we'll just have bionic eyes. It'll be fine. But do you think we really will?
Bionic eyes?
Yeah. But people say that stuff so much. Like it's gonna. I mean, it could very well happen in 10 years. See how much the world has changed technology wise. In 10 years is ridiculous. I mean, 50 years. You're talking the difference between flying and not flying.
Yeah.
Just about.
Isn't the number like in 50 years we went from not flying to putting a man on the moon?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. When Orville and them, the brothers, when did they do that thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think people will always speculate technology to come out sooner than it does. I mean, there's always all the sci-fi stuff, and everyone's like, oh, by that time, which around now, they're like, oh, there'll be flying cars easily. Everyone will have one, stuff like that.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think that'll really happen though? Yeah. I mean, I feel like we get too hopeful sometimes.
Yeah, I could see that, but like you're talking like everyone in the future will have bionic eyes in like 50 years or something.
Yeah,
I think a possibility of like someone having an eye replaced with a mechanical eye or something that just like helps them see better, maybe.
Yeah,
but that be like a special surgery or something, not be like available for everyone.
Yeah,
they have that actually.
That's a crazy comment too. That comes up a lot when people they're talking about, oh, I wish they had something like this. Would be crazy if they had this, and then someone goes, yeah, they have that now.
No, I believe.
Oh,
shit! It was MIT. Some guy at MIT implanted electrodes into a blind person's brain in their occipital lobe in the back, and had a camera, like a hat cam, basically, and they were able to see contrast. They were able to see the reflection of light off the water or off the sailboat, or
basically they saw with some crazy ass technology this dude came up with.
Yeah,
that's what you're getting to me. So now they have sunglasses, or well, not sunglasses. They have glasses for colorblind people that can see color.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The cochlear implants for deaf people. Those things are getting pretty crazy now. Babies hearing their mother's voice for the first time. It's crazy, dude.
Maybe there's already like a book, a science fiction book about it. But do you ever think there will be a point in time, because humanity has grown with technology at such a fast rate, that we'll just hit a wall or a plateau for a while, that we just can't get to the next step?
Dude, I could definitely see it happening. Not even kind of a barrier, but there just won't be a point for it anymore. We'll just kind of have one. And what else do we need to make life easier? Life is already too easy. Yeah, that's what I think. I don't know if we talked about this. I don't know if I've had this conversation with you, Squiggs, but I know that me and Brian have had this conversation before, where
more on the eye. I've got more on the eye. Sorry.
Yeah, but like where we would speculate what if we are kind of plugged into the Matrix, and we're plugged into the Matrix because people were so that life was like, oh, what is it like for life to suck? I don't remember. So they plug into the Matrix to live normal life like this.
Normal.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
That would be pretty weird.
I mean, because what happens once we solve? Because I think at one point in time we'll probably solve death. Like we'll just.
I think there's a few more pressing issues to solve before we solve death, but all of them are death. Yeah. Famine, poverty.
Yeah.
These sort of things.
Kind of an all-encompassing thing, but
yeah.
At that point, what happens? What do we do? You know?
Yeah. There's a philosophical, just like theory about you're given this choice to go into a machine, and once you get into this machine, it's kind of like a sensory deprivation chamber. Yeah. Kind of just like you don't feel anything in the real world, and you get put into this virtual world where everything's just a little bit better. So you're always a little bit happier. The food tastes a little bit better. Like it's just everything is not like a drastic amount, but just a little bit. At what point do you know you're in the real world and you haven't already been in one of those chambers before?
So
that sounds like some deja vu shit. I could have swore I've had that dream before.
So let me get this straight. You're basically saying there's chambers that make life a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Are we in one right now? Kind of like.
Yeah.
How would you? Yeah. Like how do you distinguish?
Tying it back to your thing, because if you did do something like that, at one point you would think, well, there'd be another one to give me an even better life.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's tough.
But
would you guys ever do something like that?
Yeah, and that's the philosophical part is would you?
The way you pose the question.
I'm
slightly
sorry.
Better?
Yeah, like would you? And at what point would you stop? Like if like get a little bit better, just get a little bit better. At what point would you stop getting better, getting a better life?
Brian, what were you trying to say? Say it again.
A lot of things.
I know you want to talk about the Bionic Eye, but
yeah. The movie.
So much to say on this topic.
So the way you posed the question, Squiggs, reminds me of the movie that's coming out March 29th, titled Ready Player One.
Oh, yep.
You'll see trailers for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll link the IMDb page.
Yeah, I've heard it's a great book, and everyone's excited for this.
Oh, that's right. It is. Yeah.
All I know from that is there's a lot of pop culture in that movie, and I am excited
even
for
in the trailer.
Like, yeah, there's a fucking DeLorean. I saw a Tracer from Overwatch. Some fucking anime shit.
The Iron Giant.
Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Like, good trailer. Gonna be a great movie, I'm sure.
But really, you guys would plug into the Matrix for slightly better?
Slightly better?
But what are we defining as slightly better?
That's a good point.
You know, what to you is slightly better life?
Like say instead of looking like 7 out of 10, like on the typical rating scale, you would look 7.5 or 8 out of 10.
Everything is a half star.
Everything is like half a star better, or half a number better out of 10.
I don't know if I'd do it.
Half a star better, in my opinion. I'm tying this back to a personal experience that I can relate to. It's the difference from me slightly overcooking the garlic in a pasta dish I just made.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. Something
so like instead of making like 30,000 a year, you're making 32,000 a year.
Yeah.
So let me get this right.
I wish I was making 32.
So you guys are forfeiting the real world that you live right now to plug yourself into slightly better.
To make $2,000 a year, to make a better pasta dish, to look a little better.
And so at that point, we're just kind of laying in our chamber. right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. No, not at all.
I would take a full star, but not a half a star.
Not even. Like,
I live a pretty shitty life.
All right, so can you get out of it whenever you want to?
Yeah, that's another stipulation.
No. Oh,
What are the conditions?
Well, once you're in it forever.
Okay.
Damn.
Until fucking Neo pulls me out.
So when do you die though? How does that work?
Whatever fucking, I don't know.
Basically, when your real body would die whenever you died in the simulation.
They're just normal.
Yeah.
So what do you? What is Brian? Do you have Google up?
Yeah.
What's the average life expectancy, if I could talk, of the 1500s or something? A couple hundred years ago. Really curious.
Well, those numbers are always very skewed because infant mortality was much higher. So you have infants dying.
Yeah.
So the average is lower.
I just want to give a rough estimate.
It says 35 years. In 17th century England, it was about 35 years. But understand that once people got into their teens, they were more likely to live into their 50s
What is life expectancy now?
I think it's like
50, 60?
85 or like 80 for guys.
78 years in the United States.
78. Okay.
I think women typically live a little bit longer, like a couple of years.
I would have assumed lower, honestly.
No, because men get cardiovascular disease at a higher rate, and that is the number one killer.
Yeah.
So
it's like CV disease and cancer.
So given
it's accidents, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. I think.
Yeah.
So
given that, well, let's say that with the skewed 17th century statistics we have, we'll say what, probably 46,
40 or 50.
47, 50 around that time.
Yeah, 40. Let's go 45. Just clean 45.
So that is almost double the life expectancy.
It's about 70% thereabouts.
What do you think will be in the next?
In another 400 years?
Yeah, sure. We'll go 400 years.
Because that's just
Yeah.
Well, I'd just as soon say another 70%. So what is that?
I'm honestly
150
I think by then we'll have solved the issue of mortality or of death.
100. That's double. I'm stupid. Math.
Yeah. There's always the speculation of, or the reports coming out of the person. There's someone alive today who will live to be 150 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like they're like one of the children born in the last week or so, or whatever. I think I heard one. I don't know how credited this is, but there was one saying that someone who's basically going to be immortal, because by the time that they're 100, they'll be able to live to 150. By the time they're 150, they'll be able to live to 200, and like the technology will
outpace their aging.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
do you think that will ever happen? So basically immortality.
Well, I think within 400, 500 years, people just won't die, probably. Or if they do, our life expectancy will just be through the roof. It'll be 1,000 years or some shit like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if we found a way to reverse aging as well.
Well, reverse aging, now that we know what causes aging, it's going to be an easier problem to solve. Because that's the classic engineering problem, is we need to figure out what the problem is, and then we can solve it. And sure, those steps in between may be absolutely difficult, may take 50 years, but if we realize what the problem is, we can eventually, it can be solved. Maybe not now, maybe not next year, maybe not in 10 years, but it can be solved if you know what the problem is. The problem with aging is telomeres at the ends of your DNA, your chromosomes, are getting cut off. Something. I'm a little fuzzy on the details, but it's like your DNA just gets shorter and shorter, so your cells are just shriveling up and dying, basically.
So, it's funny because I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to this question. If you could live forever, would you?
I always think of this question as a yes, like the answer to it, but there's always at one point, given Earth will probably, whether it's in the span of human time, like while we're here, Earth will probably be destroyed or become another molten planet or something, and then you're just lost in space.
I agree.
So it's like, at that point, yeah, I want to die. But it's like...
I feel like a lot of people answer that question with no.
I would answer that question with probably.
Because it's really weird to me, because the point of just about any... No, literally, the reason that we are where we are on evolutionary scale is just out of survival, like our need to survive. So we evolved to survive, and the point of evolving is continuing to survive better. And then it's like a lot of people make the decision of, no, I couldn't live forever. I wouldn't want to do that, Is your neighbors just fucking around or what?
Yeah, they really are. And like, I wish you were talking a little bit faster because they'd probably be able to cover it up, but you're just like,
I'm trying to figure out how to put
like this,
make it make sense,
And it's really slow, and I'm just like, Dustin, speed the fuck up, bro.
Yeah. No, it's really weird because every species on the planet, they reproduce and survive, so just their species can exist, But a lot of people, I feel like, would answer that question with no, I don't want to live forever, even though that's kind of the point, Your neighbors just don't give a fuck. You should just yell at them saying, "Doing a podcast."
Sorry, I was on my phone.
Podcast.
What do you do?
We're recording the podcast.
Oh yeah.
If I was in the office, absolutely.
That'd be hilarious.
I'm not in an office.
Also,
turn off your goddamn phone.
I was on my phone, but basically because I can't get to my keyboard, I was just looking stuff up. There's like scientists are saying like turtles are maybe like the key to immortality because they live for such long spans of time.
Well, they're reptiles. Reptiles are totally different.
Yeah. Well, there's what is it, Brian? Do you remember what animal it is that's biologically immortal?
I can count them on my hand.
Yeah. There's
jellyfish, lobsters,
there's actually a couple.
Water bears.
Those things are nuts.
Yeah, tardigrades, fucking dope. Squiggs, if you don't fuck with tardigrades, you fucked up.
Do you know what those are, Squiggs?
Nope.
So they're microscopic creatures, right? They literally can survive the harshest of temperatures, both ways, cold and heat. And they get to a point to where if they're getting too dehydrated or too malnourished or whatever it is, or something like
they'll
that,
just fucking go into a suspended animation. Yeah, they'll hibernate.
Basically, a super extreme hibernation to where their body is now functioning at 99% less than what it was before, or something like that. So they just conserve a stupid amount of energy. And then just, they because I think they live through fucking. They've put them through crazy shit and they've survived it, and it's just like they don't know how they can kill these things. Just you're a badass species when people are testing you to just figure out how to kill you because they can't. Right? Literally so badass you can't die.
A few researchers believe some species of tardigrades might even be able to survive desiccation for up to a century. Oh, but they rarely survive more than a few months if they're continuously hydrated. Yeah. Interesting.
It is absolutely nuts. But another thing that I kind of want to bring up from having watched a little bit of Independence Day. What's up?
Sorry, hydras are also biologically immortal.
What?
The mythological creature Hydra? Yeah. What are we talking about?
No, it's like it's an animal, but it's like a little plant, and it reproduces by budding. So like you got one, and then you got two, and then you got four. It's just sort of like.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how sometimes you go to have a child and you don't have one, you have three.
Well, I mean,
then those three children have three. Yeah.
Thus is life.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But,
but it's like it's all one organism, and it's just sort of expands, and then when it gets chopped off, that is now another organism. Yeah.
But
it's all exponential.
Yeah.
It's a fucking flowchart or something.
So another question for you guys: if how far along do you think we would be in evolution, or the evolution of technology? Where do you think we'd be at technologically if there weren't any kind of conflicts in the world? There were no. Everyone was just friends.
Political conflicts. See, that's a hard one, because most advances in technology have been the result of war. Like, honestly, that's just how it is. A lot of wartime applications were the result, or like a lot of modern technologies were advanced because of war, and that's just me saying the same exact thing twice.
Yeah, but what if it's like those things happen because typically we don't take the time to, like there are all these different allies that we have, but how often do they? Well, no, I mean, I guess I see what you're saying, because there's kind of really a push at that point.
Actually, I can give a modern example too, from my own experience, my own research experience. So there is this class of polymeric materials. That's just a fancy way of saying plastic. It's called a shape memory polymer. And in modern days, these things are used for a wide variety of applications. I'm not going to get into all of them. But two of the main applications that I've seen recently are wound dressings. So take for example, you've just taken a fragment of a grenade, right? There's a piece of metal in your leg, right? A field medic comes along, injects you with these shape memory polymers.
Shit's crazy.
And they're like this big when he injects you with them, and then they're this big after they've been exposed to some moisture and some body heat, right? They just expand. This is the shape that they have memorized, right?
Plugs
this
the hole,
size.
stops the bleeding.
And it plugs the hole, stops the bleeding. Those have been in development at my university for a while now. I believe they're actually in production. Like they produce and manufacture and sell these to the military. Now, another application for shape memory polymers of the same class of polymer is cancer treatment. You take a shape memory polymer, you compress it down to a very thin needle-like shape, you inject it with a catheter up to the blood vessels that lead into the cancer tumor, right? So like you have the tumor, and then the blood vessel goes in and feeds the tumor cells, which is a bad thing, right? So you put the shape memory polymer in there, and then it expands, it clots, and now you've cut off the blood supply to the tumor.
And it just kills the tumor.
And it kills the tumor. It will eventually kill the tumor. So, an application originally intended for war is bound to save countless lives because it's in FDA mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of still though, the whole thing of how many different countries have been butting heads to make that happen. That was kind of what I was getting at, the whole working together kind of thing. But there's really no way of telling. But
right,
how many people have from Asian scientists or Indian and Russian? Right. You never know.
It's all about nationalism. I don't know if that's a problem or a solution.
It was just I was thinking about it today, really, and I thought about how kind of shitty the world is. It was one of those days where I just kind of got slapped in the face how shitty the world is, and it was something. I was watching NCIS Los Angeles, right?
Fuck?
there was a terrorist attack in the episode, and then I thought about it, and I was like, it is just the need for the military is kind of mind-boggling to me. Like, the world is so shitty that that people just can't leave each other alone, and for thousands of years we've been at war over anything and everything, when at one point somebody could have just been, hey, you stay over there, I'll stay over here, just fucking don't worry about it. But people are literally killing other people, and countries at times want to fucking take over other resources and shit, so they have to deploy a military when it can't just be I'm running low, can you help a brother out, Yeah.
Like
it's weird to me.
It's
just human nature.
I need to look it up because I don't want to plagiarize something. But one of my favorite quotes is all of like human history and conflict can be generalized and summarized down into one single statement, and realization is, "Hey, you aren't me." It's like
that's what it is.
That's basically it. It's just like
it blows my mind to even think like, the whole just even needing police of some sort is kind of like the fact that we get so, because the main thing behind police aren't like what the fuck?
I mean, to protect and serve.
Am I streaming again? Did I do this again?
Oh my god.
Because I'm pretty sure I did not.
It's that time of the
That just
podcast
tripped
where
me
everyone
out.
gets
I
up and
heard the
gets
noise. I
water.
was like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
The fact that
No.
you heard the noise makes me absolutely terrified.
Yeah, I know. I was like, my heart hit
No,
my
you're
feet.
not
I was like,
live.
man,
Okay.
we're giving away the goodies early. But
We good.
huh?
We good.
Yeah, no, I checked too. I was like, oh shit, not again.
You said that, I was like,
So,
I'm dropping what I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
For those people that for the people that don't know what we're talking about, the first time that we tried attempted a one of these just like as like practice, whatever, so that we could review it later. Dustin ended up hitting the record and stream instead of just the record button.
Yeah. So that was a fatal mistake, but we don't talk about that.
We had a good laugh. We had a good laugh, and that's about it.
But no. Anyways, back to what I was saying. It's the police aren't here just for traffic. You know, the police are primarily are here to stop criminals from fucking killing other people, stealing. Like even
you get into the point of contention with that in the fact that I'm not going to protect myself from an invading nation. So
but
who
you
is?
shouldn't have to, is what I'm saying.
Right. But like
I
Squiggs was
understand.
saying, it's like, you're not me, and I have what I have, and you're trying to take what I have. No.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Why do you have to phrase it that way? You're trying to take. Why can't it just?
Well, it's because I'm in an economics classroom for the second semester in a row, so it's like the word scarcity is fresh in my mind. But basically, there are a limited amount of resources, and everyone is trying to use as many resources as they can because why not? It's for them. It's what they want. Because
See, but and like I understand that, I really do. But it's just so weird to me that because this is what could happen. You have something, you run out of oil, right? If we right now tomorrow we wake up and every country in the world goes, hey, we have zero oil reserves, we are fucked. We have no oil. At that point, all the countries go, we need to find something else to replace oil. We need to create something to replace oil.
Tragedy is a great motivator, which is
instead of doing
why-
those kinds of things, because I'm looking at this kind of hey Brian, hey Squiggs, can I borrow some sugar? You know, you're like, yeah, I got sugar here. I'll give you some sugar, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you're running out of a resource. You ask another country, hey, can we use this resource? You get into the thing of, oh well, I don't want to give this to you because I don't have very much of it, and I need to be a little bit stingy, whatever, for my people. But at that point, why can't people just say, I'm running low, you don't have any, this is obviously going to be a problem here soon, let's solve it.
It's because it's so deeply ingrained in human culture, and I'll elaborate on that. So, at evolution, the first humans to walk around, they probably didn't share the same beliefs as the other humans. There was a group that was like, they may have been hunting on the same grounds and doing the same things, but they're like, I want to live on the plains and I want to live on the river. It's two groups with the same goals, the same interests, the same everything, but they want to live over here and they want to live over here. And then they split. And then they did the whole echo chamber thing, right? It's just like, yeah, don't trust those guys. Yeah, don't trust those guys because they live on the plains, they live on the river. So you get that, and then they expand, and then they grow, and then they move, and then you get religions like, I worship the river gods, I worship the plains gods, and then you get problems.
Getting into dangerous territory, Brian.
Well, I know, but that's how I believe that it worked. That like shit like this happens.
It comes a lot of the time. It comes down to choice.
It's just so deeply ingrained, deep into the evolution. Like that's how it is.
I 100% I agree, man. Like just every time I hear religion, it's just people get so touchy with the topic, man.
That's true.
They get so touchy with it, and I don't get it. I don't get why people. That's another thing. I just don't understand. Like everybody just wants to be so angry. And people just. I'm dead serious. I tweeted about this one day. People just search for shit to be mad about. If they wake up and they realize I'm not disappointed enough today, let me find a reason to get pissed off.
Yeah, that happens.
Most of the stuff that you get mad at on a daily basis, how much of it do you think is actually worth the energy of getting angry?
I don't get angry, but when I do get angry, it is dumb shit.
Yeah, I really only get angry in tennis. That's it.
Yeah, but it's all.
I get angry on the roads. Just like
I would imagine that. Do it.
I get angry on the roads. Like, why did you slow down? Inertia,
no doubt.
bud.
Fucking driving
inertia.
Texas is awful.
It's awful.
Last time I got semi-angry is our argument, I think.
Yeah, no, that was one of the maddest.
It didn't even get. I didn't even really get angry. It just got heated to like.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Arguing is just hilarious at times.
Stupid little argument. But
it's just.
I don't know. Like we were kind of talking about earlier, conflict drives us. Like conflict is a great motivator, like tragedy and everything. So people, I think it's ingrained in people to look for conflict to try and solve. But because of technology and how easy everything is, that it's hard to find really core stuff to try and fix.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
but no, like legit, I would say that 95% of the things that people get mad at on a regular basis probably aren't worth the energy. There is so much stuff that people just. I don't want to make it seem as if I'm the happiest guy on the planet and the most carefree, but it's just there's shit that people get mad at. I can't begin to even comprehend why you'd want to be mad at that. It's not like being angry is fun, but people be angry like it is fun.
Yeah.
And that's like we were saying, the whole you say religion and people cringe because they just somebody's getting offended, somebody doesn't believe such and such, so you're wrong, this is wrong, other than you see this one way, I see this the other way. Yeah, because I actually recently got into a little bit of a tiff with somebody about, well, not really a tiff, but it was just a really awkward encounter where they, I mentioned that I wasn't very religious, and they kind of were like, "Oh, you're one of those."
Yo,
and it's like,
I get that a lot.
It's like,
so my university is a very Christian university. Like, it's I generally consider myself atheist, but I was raised with good enough morals. Like I was raised with good Christian morals. Let's just say
people just think that if you're atheist, you're a piece of shit.
Pretty much. Oh, I am a piece of shit, but it's for totally different reasons.
Yeah.
No, but it's like I'm constantly like, oh, you're religious? I wouldn't have ever pegged you to be religious, and it's kind of cool, but like it's weird because it's like, oh, you're not religious? Well, I could kind of tell.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I consider myself pretty much atheist as well, right? Mm-hmm. But I also because I don't want to say that I'm agnostic, as I lean towards the atheism on that scale. But it's like if someone said, if there was just hard evidence that came out that said God exists in whatever capacity, I was just gonna be like, oh, all right, like, you know,
All right.
whatever. Like, sorry, I guess.
Sorry.
You know, but my mind is open to that possibility that he might exist.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's no way that I know. There's no way that anyone knows, you know. But the thing is, when you get into anything with religious people, I don't like that most very religious people just kind of ignore the fact that there's a possibility of him not existing. And they ignore the fact that, like what you were saying earlier, is the likelier cause to their religion existing is because people made it up, you know?
Yeah. That's the cause of most shit.
Like
People
if you're going
up.
to believe into something like that, at least be open to the fact that you're wrong, you know?
That you could be wrong. And I think that takes a lot of it makes you a better person. And I don't know. I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I tend to I'm more than willing to admit that I'm wrong, and I think I'm a better person for it. You know?
It's just
it's
religion kind of scares me, to be honest. It genuinely scares me. It's like a cult following. But you just,
it depends on the religion.
I guess.
And that is what scares me, is there's so many different flavors of everything. It's all open to interpretation. Everything is open to interpretation when it comes to spirituality, faith, and whatever you believe in.
Yeah, but people just, and I think that another big thing, the hypocrisy behind it. There's a lot of people that are very adamant in their religious ways, but they act in ways that are very against their religion. But I'm a bad person because I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
Don't quite understand that. So I have a question, Squiggs.
Go on.
Here on this, I love the podcast document. I do. All of the talking points, because some of this I no fucking clue what they mean. They're phrased in ways that I'm really curious as to the story behind these.
Okay.
What the fuck is the
wrote
axe
which one?
spray at Catalina? What is this about?
Okay, so
Put on the spot.
just
Get ready.
just to give people a little bit behind the scenes, we have just like a shared document of things we might want to talk about, and so we have like general for things everyone can talk about, or like specific stories to people. And one of my under my name, my specific story is axe spray at Catalina.
Very ambiguous.
During a road trip, field trip from my middle school, we went to Catalina Islands, and there are islands just off the coast of California. Yeah, or we just went to one of the islands. I think there are multiple islands.
So you took a field trip to this place?
Yeah, but we went for 3 days, and it was my whole 50-person class. So yeah, all of us. So there was the boys' dorms and the girls' dorms, and they're in the same giant building, but they're separated by just a little arch place, like in the middle. You could see from one hall down all the other just under the archway, but you had to go outside basically to get to the other one. But all the guys were together, and there are like 3 or 4 in each room, 4 bunks, whatever. And during one of the nights right before bedtime, everyone was kind of just like doing their own thing. People were coming back from dinner, whatever. One of the guys in my room, who's one of my 2 best friends in middle school, took 2 things of axe spray, and it was the chocolate axe, and it was the face just thinking about it. He took 2 of those, sprayed them until they weren't spraying anymore. I wasn't there for this, like for him to do this part, but I got there immediately after, so sprayed whole cans of axe in our room mostly, and it was so hard to sleep that night the girls were complaining about the smell because it just smelled like Axe. We almost got thrown, like the people supervising from our school were like, we want to take these kids back because of this. Like,
well, why did he have 2 cans of Axe body spray?
He brought them with him, and then he was just like, I want to spray these.
This was premeditated, obviously.
I think something happened between him and someone else where there was just like, he won't do it. He's like, bet I won't.
This kid didn't grow up to be a serial killer, did he?
No, he was actually no. He was a really good friend of mine.
I hope he's not a serial killer. So, did you guys ever use Axe body spray in middle school?
I did, but I've also got a similar story that I heard a friend tell.
Well, wait, you do what?
No, go ahead, Dustin.
I just want to say that for any of you people out there, if you use Axe body spray,
oh my god,
get the fuck out!
Get the fuck out of here. Whoever's telling you, if your mom's telling you to use that shit, she's fucking wrong. Don't use Axe body spray. Holy shit, it's embarrassing.
Take a goddamn shower.
It's embarrassing.
I remember when that stuff used to be the shit.
Yeah.
Having Axe, you were like, the girls would be, oh, you smell good. Is that Axe? No,
Christ.
This is not the case anymore. Axe is some bougie ass shit.
If you need,
dude, I can't
strongly emphasize the word need. If you need deodorant that strong, use bod.
Axe isn't deodorant though. That's the problem. Well, they have deodorant, but
it's a deodorant.
No,
spray.
Yeah, it's considered deodorant.
Is it a cologne?
Is it really?
Deodorant?
I thought it was
it's
cologne.
I'm pretty sure it's deodorant.
Body spray.
It's definitely more like a cologne, but it's also like I think they advertise as a deodorant.
Did they really? Like, I know they have actual deodorant, but what does the can say? What does the can say?
I was gonna say the spray stuff. The spray stuff is not great. The stick deodorant, it's fine. Like, I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah. Like, well, I'm just like, I personally would not consider Axe body spray deodorant. You know, I look at it as cologne. So any motherfuckers using Axe body spray, don't do it. Stop doing it. Splurge. Go spend $25 on a cheap ass cologne that smells good. No one's gonna know that it costs $25. And spritz that if you really need cologne.
Holy shit.
Shit, or use more deodorant.
$25
Walmart cologne, dude.
You just don't use Axe body. It's literally make your own body spray before you use fucking Axe body spray.
Goddamn essential oils out your goddamn mom's
dude,
cabinet.
I can't deal with any Axe spray now. Like, I gag at it.
Shit is
so bad.
I remember actually. Speaking of, I got 2 stories. If I can do 2 stories. One of them's instant, real quick. And the next one's a little longer. But speaking of Axe body spray, I remember being on the bus in 6th grade, coming home, and somebody had a can of Axe body spray, and they started spraying it in the bus, and we were like, fuck off with that. And then he took the can, shook it up real lot, and threw it out the window. And I don't know why this memory popped into my head, but it gets better. He chucks it out the window. It hits a rock at the right angle, and bang,
God.
and it pops open. It pops a hole, and it just starts spinning like a fucking top in the air. I was like, that's a hazard, but also that's pretty cool. That was fun to watch.
I'm gonna tell you, the side of that road smelled like Axe body spray for about 48 hours.
It still smells like Axe body spray. What the fuck?
No, that rock.
Don't kid yourselves.
That rock forever has Axe body spray on it.
Oh my god! Yeah, probably.
700 years from now, people are gonna walk by that shit. What is this ancient ass smell? What is this ancient ass smell?
Dude, it was so bad.
But
the fact that it was chocolate.
One thing that we're learning from these 2 stories: kids are assholes. But anyways,
kids are assholes, and Axe body spray is not good.
Yeah.
But you know what else? You know what could be good? Febreze. All right.
Febreze is amazing.
But
just 2 ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Here's a story. So I was told this story from a friend, and he said that when he was in the Corps of Cadets, which is a ROTC program, you're required to live on campus with other cadets in the dorms, and
that's awful.
There was one cadet that lived across the hall from him who wouldn't shower. And if you've ever been to a summer camp, or if you've ever been to a week-long trip or something, there's always a guy that doesn't shower. They're an asshole. I'm not getting into them.
Why the fuck do people do that?
It's the worst.
That might have been part of why he sprayed 2 things of Axe. I'm
Oh my god.
Let me tell you, no one smelled like they didn't shower. Everyone just smelled like Axe.
Doesn't like showering to begin with. And also, who the fuck thinks it's a good idea to not shower?
These are college kids, too.
Exactly.
These are
why it's worse.
18-year-olds.
That's why it's worse. These are grown people.
Oh my god. It's
choosing
so
not to fucking
awful.
partake in normal societal.
Have you been fucked up your whole life? Or is this a development?
Yeah. Anyways.
No, yeah, so
I'm excited to see how Febreze comes into this mix.
Yeah, so so they're both freshmen. Like everybody in the area around them is freshmen. It's like parent weekend or something. So my friend's mom was in town and they were just chilling just in bed. Just on the bed, right? And they're like talking, chatting, whatever. And you hear one of the upperclassmen, like a senior or something, walk up because they got clackers on their boots. It's a whole process. Okay. But you hear one of the seniors walk down the hall, beat on the other side's door, so like the smelly guy's door, and go like, "What the fuck? Why does it smell like shit in here?" You know, like chewing him out just a little bit. And he's like, "You got a can of Febreze?" So he says, "All right, well." And then, okay, you got a can of Febreze. And then then you hear him turn and walk away. Right? And I know that everybody now knows how this story is going to go, but eventually you hear him march back, and like my friend's door was open at this point. So he saw the banging, he saw the berating and everything and whatever. But eventually the senior walks back and beats down the door once again, and then when the door opens, there's a cloud, like a physical cloud, a mist, just
man has cancer,
just passing out of the dorm room and into the hallway, and then the seniors just starts fucking screaming, "What the fuck?" Apparently, the senior told this freshman, "Spray this can of Febreze until I come back."
Those things are fucking huge too.
So he filled his goddamn dorm room with Febreze, with aerosolized Febreze.
He has some kind of brain issue now.
For minutes.
No, he never got out of college. He's still there.
Yeah, no, he needs to be put on some kind of watch or something. That is dangerous, dude.
Fucking yeah. So just in the similar vein of spraying 2 cans of Axe body spray, spraying a fucking can of Febreze for multiple minutes.
Yeah, well, okay, what's your favorite fragrance of Febreze?
I know yours, Dustin. I don't know why, but I do because it's good.
What is it?
Go ahead, Squiggs.
Probably just generic Febreze. Like,
what the fuck kind of answer is that?
I don't know. I don't go around like just sniffing different types of Febreze.
Shop for Febreze?
No. Fucking.
Who the fuck is this guy? What kind of shit is this? You don't have a. Next thing you're gonna tell me that you don't have a particular toothpaste preference. You just buy what you get your hands on. So you don't give a shit. You don't care about your deodorant either. You just fucking buy whatever you can get your hands on. Okay. You don't have favorites.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, stop roasting me and get back to whatever fucking
okay
Febreze podcast you two want to do.
What the fuck does generic Febreze smell like? What the fuck is? Is it vanilla Febreze? Like what is it? Is it like Pop Tarts? You have your strawberry, blueberry, your generic. Like,
I don't fuck. What's your favorite then, huh?
Clean linen.
Clean linen. Easy clap.
See, he asked because he didn't think I had an answer ready.
I didn't care if you had an answer ready. I wanted you to.
Guys, Squiggs doesn't use Febreze. Brian, what's your favorite?
I use scented candles more than Febreze for Stink Pretty in my apartment.
You use what?
Scented candles. Yeah, to pretty stink my apartment.
Yeah. You know what that was? That was a better answer than generic Febreze.
There is no such thing. And if there
what's your favorite? Like, what's your favorite scent, Squiggs? I guess I should have.
Yeah, let's go.
I should have tailored this question to a
what's my favorite smell?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Smell?
Do you not have a favorite scent?
My favorite Probably my favorite smell, which is I think it's pretty basic, is petrichor, which is the smell of like after a rain or before one. More specific.
I like the smell pre-rain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Is all the same
What
smell?
What is that? That's the smell of bacteria releasing, like shitting their pants, basically.
Basically, it's I think it's more described as like the actual smell of dirt. Like it's yeah.
It's actually a really interesting one though. I love the feeling of walking outside and just going, oh, it's gonna rain.
Yep,
it's gonna rain.
All right, so are you guys done with your Febreze scent talk?
Well, I want to say that if there is a heaven,
What does that smell?
it smells like clean linen.
Petrichor?
Spell it. Oh, petrichor.
P-E-T.
There it is.
I did not know that there was a word for that scent.
Yeah.
No, there totally is.
That comes in candles.
Does that come in candles?
Oh.
Why not?
I'm sure people have attempted it, but it's not the same.
That's why I was like, see, well, yeah, I said I did say favorite scent. Okay, that's why I was like, what the? There's a fucking candle for this. Look me up. Candles are amazing. Lit one today. Like the fucking numbers, the difference.
I cleaned my entire goddamn apartment today.
Doesn't look like it,
bro. Fuck yourself. No, my kitchen counter, my bedroom. I vacuumed.
I will say that you are a lot more like you clean your apartment a lot more than other people our age.
Oh yeah.
Like
I don't keep it clean, but
you're messy.
Eventually get fed up.
But you're not
with it.
sloppy. Like
yeah, everything has a place, and if it doesn't, I know where it is.
Yeah, but like it's definitely. I know people that their apartments were. Jesus Christ! I've seen some awful apartments.
All right.
Seen some pretty awful apartments, but we're running up on an hour. Any last comments?
We started recording a little bit early, so I mean, but I wanted to get to the story the whole time. So a couple days ago, Brian went out to eat, and when he came back, he said that was probably the worst restaurant experience I've ever had.
Oh yeah.
And before he said anything else, I said, save that for the podcast. Brian, what was your experience?
All right. So we go, it's in the group me, like the fam group me that we all, like everybody, all of our peers and cohorts, we're all a part of this big old group me, and they're like, hey, y'all trying to fuck with dinner and a movie on Friday? Was it Friday? Thursday?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Friday. Let's go with Friday. Y'all trying to see Black Panther, and I was like, I promised I would celebrate Dustin's birthday on Friday, and so I can't be going seeing Black Panther, but I will try to fuck with dinner. So we're like, yeah, let's all go get steak, and then other people.
You went to fucking dinner when you're supposed to be
Bro,
ridiculous.
Go fuck yourself.
Ridiculous.
You know he went to dinner.
Don't
be getting mad now.
So, fuck. So somebody else suggested. They were like, let's go get steak, and then other people were like, nah, let's go get Vietnamese food. And I was like, sure. And then somebody posts, all right, whoever likes this,
sure.
Yeah, I'll eat anything, dude. Whoever likes this post is down for dinner. I've already bought tickets, so those of you that have tickets to the movie, we're going to the movie regardless. So let's schedule dinner. So turns out I was the only one to like that post. So it was me and one other guy. And this guy,
starting to sound like you deserved whatever's coming to you.
Well, hold on. It gets better. This guy,
boy.
I don't have any problems with this guy. He's a little weird. It's not weird.
So you and your least favorite person in the group liked this message.
That's not true. It's not my least favorite person. That's
He's your
sure.
second least favorite.
He's very Christian.
Least favorite-ish.
So I can't cuss at dinner. You know, like that's so I have to limit myself.
Because you feel bad, or
he's
he gets
wholesome.
angry?
He's wholesome, and I am anything but.
Okay.
So
you just sit down
it's already two people that probably wouldn't hang out regularly.
Okay.
We're chums, right? Like, I get along with him, no problem, but we probably wouldn't hang out a whole lot. So we show up, 8 o'clock, dinner rolls around, right? Both of us, he's like, hey, looks like it's just us. I'm like, yeah, man, it's cool. We get in, they're like, yeah, go ahead and sit wherever. It's a slow night, it's fun. We sit down, and we're waiting just a little bit, and then he's like, all right, what do y'all have to drink? We're like, waters. Brings us some water, no problem. And then we're waiting maybe 5 more minutes, 5 to 10 more minutes, and these are like actual times, not like relative times. 5 to 10 more minutes, a different person comes along, says, what are you ready to order? And by this time, yeah, we've thought this through for the past 15 minutes. We're ready to order.
So, by right now, it doesn't seem too bad, right? Like, it just seems a little bit awkward that you're going out with this guy.
Well, no, it's I already understand.
It doesn't seem too bad, right?
I already understand this feeling though. It's fucking awful.
The movie's at 9:05. The movie 9:15. The movie starts at 9:15, so he has to be leaving at 9 o'clock, and we got there at 8, and it's now 8:15, and we just ordered.
When it takes you 10 minutes to get water, I'm already blood pressure's through the fucking roof.
Yeah, I'm already like, it's
you already know you're in for a ride.
We're having pleasant conversation. The Olympics is on in the corner. You know, it's whatever. Basically,
so it saves the fact that your waitress is awful or waiter.
Yeah, well, both.
Okay,
which is that's already a bad sign. So we're waiting. It's just conversation. It's slowing down. It's speeding up. It's whatever. And then eventually I'm like, you're probably gonna have to wolf this food down, man. Like, it's because you have to leave here for the movie like really soon. It's now like 8:45, and we're like, yeah, you're probably not gonna have much time to eat. So he's like, all right, that's true. So he pulls out his card, hands it to the waiter as he is walking by. The waiter takes his card, looks at it like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do with this? And then is like, yeah, just run it. Like, I'm gonna have to leave here soon, so just run it. So he runs the register.
Flipped their fucking world upside down.
No, he runs the register. He comes back. He's like, what meal did you have? Because he wasn't the one that took our order.
Okay.
It was the waitress that took our order, not the waiter.
Okay.
So he comes back. He's like, yeah. What did you have? Oh, I had the rice plate. He's like, okay. So he runs back, brings a check. It's like $9 or whatever. I peeped that, you know. He adds a tip, signs it off. The pen explodes. like so he's got ink all over his hands. So that happened. It didn't happen to me, but that certainly doesn't make the story any better. The pen explodes. And then eventually he comes back to pick up the ticket or whatever, and sets our food down at this point, after my buddy has paid. So we now have food in front of us. I wolfed mine down because it was just a sandwich. It was like a banh mi sandwich, and it was really good. And he's just like shoving food into his mouth as quick as he can with the chopsticks, and it's like, yeah, you know, he says, as the waiter makes another pass, he's like, yeah, can I get a to-go box? I gotta go. Brings a to-go box with very little hesitation, and then I'm just sitting there because he's now left to go catch the movie. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm passed maybe twice. Like, I don't have anything in front of me. I've got an empty, little container plate thing, with a crumpled up napkin that my sandwich came in or whatever, and I'm passed like 2 or 3 times by the wait staff, both of them, and then I have to ask, hey, can I get my check? I'm ready to go. Do I pay up here? Do I pay at the table? Do I pay at the register over there? Because I saw some people get up and do the register thing. But eventually, I get my check, I sign it off, but there's a thing I noticed. This check was for like $17.
Mm.
So my sandwich was like $5.
So
his meal was like
charged
$9.
you for his meal as well.
So I paid for my buddy's meal.
That was already paid for.
That was already paid for by my buddy, and I paid for my own meal. And instead of confront them, I was just like, I'm done with this night. I'm just ready to go get fucking shit faced with Dustin. So I paid the like $20 when I added the tip or whatever it came out to, and I was like, it's if we got steak, I'd be paying the exact same amount of money. It's fine. This is like,
You're a better person than I am.
Fuck me.
But I will tell you.
I was so goddamn done by the end of that.
I will tell you that on the next podcast, I'm gonna have to tell you about my awful dining experience.
Yeah, no, it's
literally this is the worst of my fucking life. I'm sure.
Yeah. Write it down and so you remember it. You know, like write down some.
But I can't believe you paid for his meal as well, knowing that it had been paid for.
Yeah, I was just done with it at that point. I knew that like I would get
Fucking
past
relief.
3 or 4 more times, and I was just like.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. But
I'm pretty non-confrontational. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like, I'll just. You know, it hurt me to like ask them, hey, where do I pay? You know, like it was that was enough interaction for one day for me.
It's always the really rough, awkward encounters that you don't want to take part in.
Yeah.
But any last minute comments, questions,
fucking
concerns?
awful.
You kind of brushed over it a bit, but happy birthday, Dustin. When this comes out, it'll be his birthday, so go wish him happy.
He'll be 22 years old. The ripe age of 22.
Listen to that Taylor Swift song?
Now that I've turned 21, my birthdays don't fucking matter until.
Until 25, when you can, when you can rent
25,
a car.
25.
And then they don't mean shit.
And then it's 30. and
then
yay.
30 is a big one because
And
you're
it's
30.
40. Yay.
And then 40 you're old.
And it's 50. You're gonna die soon. It's like I think that's when that hits you, right? Where you really start reflecting on that.
Fuck, I'm 50 years old.
Yeah, right. I'm half a century.
Oh my god, yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that about sums it up for the LNO podcast number 3. Join us again next week, Monday, for LNO podcast number 4. For those of you who want to ask us any questions that we will answer here on the podcast, please reach out to us on any social media. Twitter would be the best place either.
Yeah,
one of us on Twitter or Discord chat. I think that's it. But reach out to us.
Instagram, if that means anything.
Yeah, we need to get an Instagram. We need to do a lot of things, but reach out to us some way, and we will answer your questions hopefully. But that is it for today, everyone. But I have been Dustin.
I've been Brian this entire time.
And I think I'm Squiggs.
Every time. Everyone, have a wonderful day, evening, and night.